Here.
Throwing a Molotov cocktail at a Tesla, burning the battery hurts the environment?
I don't think that has done that much damage to the environment compared to what the Trump administration is doing to the environment. That is minuscule.
What do you think is the worst thing Elon Musk and his Doge team has done so far?
We don't really know what they've done in there, so I think that that's very dangerous that they're, using their technological, all the technical stuff that they're doing computerized with computers and with the agencies.
Larson here is from Connecticut.
Where's the independence of the committee? Shame! Are you not insulted by this list? You want me to read this list? You want me to go through the same list? Indigenous people, inclusive justice, primary literacy, female empowerment, personalized 3D avatar tools for gender identities. This is stupid. This is stupid. Mr. Chairman, reclaiming my time.
You got your time.
Where was the concern for conflicts of interest and abuse of power when the IRS leadership and the special prosecutors from the Biden DOJ were obstructing the investigation into the Hunter Biden scheme? And your president said, I don't know anything about it, never been involved. And we knew that wasn't true, and we discovered it wasn't. But where was the drive and the passion that I see from you, all my colleagues, on that issue and the transparency or lack thereof for the last 2 or 3 years? I never see this until we're talking about the tip-to-tail audit of the federal government to root out wasteful spending and act as fiduciaries on behalf of the taxpayers. It's unbelievable to me. The American people in their good judgment are reading right through it just like I am. Where's the independence of the committee? Shame!
He needs to get out of our government. We didn't elect him. He needs to go. And
What do you think of Dr. Fauci?
I love Dr. Fauci.
Do you think we elected him?
He was appointed by our president. So, no, he needs to get out of our government. We didn't elect him. He needs to go. And
What do you think of Dr. Fauci?
I love Dr. Fauci.
Do you think we elected him?
He was appointed by our president. So, no.
Is Trump's tariffs already working? Don't scroll past this video because you're going to want to hear this. Stellantis, the maker of Ram pickup trucks, has just announced that they are laying off 900 people and shutting down 2 plants in Canada and Mexico because of Trump's tariffs. And that's what you're going to hear on the news today, okay? But the part you're not going to hear on the news is they also announced that they are reopening a plant in Illinois where they're going to hire 1,500 American workers to start building Ram mid-size pickup trucks. Now, if that is not what the tariffs were designed to do, then I don't know what is.
The student graduated with honors from the Hartford school system in Connecticut, is now a freshman at UConn College, and she can't read or write.
18-year-old began her freshman year at the University of Connecticut in Hartford this fall. She's excited to study public policy, the culmination of hard work after moving north from Puerto Rico as a child.
Do you remember when you first came to Connecticut?
Yes, I remember I was very nervous, but I know it was going to be better opportunities for me to learn.
But Alicia says those opportunities never came to fruition.
Even today, could you read this, or would it take you a long time?
It's impossible. I just see his words everywhere.
Alicia graduated from the Hartford public school system last year, but she says today she is illiterate. She still doesn't know how to read or write. When she was in early education,
They would just either tell me to stay in a corner and sleep, or just draw pictures, flowers for them.
And when she was in high school, she relied on speech-to-text programs and other apps to read and write essays.
So if you had an assignment where you had to write something, you'd open up a document like this and then do what?
I would go here to use the text-to-speech.
It says dictate.
Dictate, yep. I love pizza.
This is how you would do your assignments.
And then
Cats of the World VA case.
I don't even know how to respond to that. When you graduated high school, you're 17, 18, 19 years old, and you are illiterate. And you graduated with honors. No. There's no student left behind. There's no kid left behind. It's nonsense. This is complete nonsense. If you can't even... She's not even eligible to work at a gas station. Graduated high school with honors.
19-year-old began her...
Breaking news. Tensions in Washington are rising after Senate Democrats passed changes to the Parental Bill of Rights to divide kids from their parents in school in order to protect LGBTQ youth. But one senator is going viral for what he just said.
Kids over 13 have the complete right to make their own decisions about their mental health care. Parents don't have a right to have notice. They don't have a right to have consent about that. If they're old enough to get pregnant, they're old enough to make their own decisions about what happens with their bodies. Okay? And parents do not have the right to change that.
Join me on Discord to talk about it.
This will sum up everything nicely.
This video almost proves the point.
Before we begin this evening's performance, we would like to acknowledge that this theater stands on territory of the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, the Huron-Wendat, and the Petun First Nations. We are also mindful of broken covenants and the need to make right with all our relations. And now, please enjoy the show.
Sorry, hello? Excuse me, should we go?
Excuse me?
Oh, no, I just mean if we're on someone else's land, shouldn't we leave?
Oh, no. The theater is here now. We'd just like to acknowledge whose land it is.
I'm sorry, I'm so confused. So if we're on someone else's land, shouldn't we do something about that? Or
hopefully we'll enjoy the performance.
Oh, okay, so some of the money from the ticket sales of the show are going to the indigenous communities?
Well, no.
How are we making right?
Please take your seats. Have a good time.
But,
good night.
So sit down.
So even though this was a propaganda video to try and get people to feel like, oh my gosh, I should be doing more than just like acknowledging that we're on stolen land. I should be giving back in a practical way.
Making right?
Right. So then I just want to take it a few steps further, right, with the questions that they're asking, because this will help dispel the whole thing. So who should we be giving back to? Be specific. Let's just take, for example, the Ohio Valley area. Okay. Here's the people that owned it first. And then it was taken from them by these guys. And then those guys had it taken from them by these guys. And then they had it taken from them by these guys. So, like, who exactly should it be reverting to? Who should we be paying homage to? And I'm glad we're asking these questions, because eventually you find out that really what's happening is they're trying to get you to just give up your power so that a different group of people can have power. That's really what this is about. It's essentially calling something racist until they get to control it. The people that are pushing this just want control. And we're too strong, so they can't get it through conquering, so they have to essentially get you with some other thing, which is essentially still conquering. It's just from the inside. It's like the Trojan horse, which is why all of the UK right now is overrun by Muslims. And there's something that Thomas Sowell says that I really like. He just goes, there's 3 questions you can ask a liberal. It'll make them kind of question everything. And that's, what evidence do you have of this, right? And then it's compared to what? And then at what cost, right? So like if they're saying like we treated the natives so savagely, it was absolutely terrible. And it's like, okay, compared to what, right? Because if you look at other countries that have treated natives a certain way, most of them were castrated or killed on the spot. They didn't like put them in reservations or anything like that, like they did in Argentina, like they did in the Ottoman Empire against the Assyrians and the Armenians. So I'm not saying like it was totally righteous. I'm just saying compared to what? Because you have to compare it to something, because you as liberals are demanding that I have some moral thing where I go back specifically like 162 years and give some kind of money or payment to that group instead of the dude who owned it 50 years later and then got it repossessed by the bank, and then the bank owned it And then if I go back 200 years, this other group owned it. So it's really not practical and probably not possible, which brings me to the other thing Thomas Sowell said when he said, at what cost? The third thing that he said. And the cost would be tracking all of the bloodlines of the people that were harmed in some kind of way in the past, because you'd have to do it universally. At any point, where's your family harmed? And then at which point and how specific of my bloodline was in part of that harming. And then there's just no way to compute it. And you'd have to grind to a halt the entire United States system, because you don't want this to happen anywhere else. You primarily just want to destroy the U.S. with this. So really, you're asking to disrupt all of civilization now, which I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's damn sure better than it used to be 300 years ago, bro. As far as like how much human suffering's happening everywhere. I mean, obviously right now in Africa, that's not true. Black people are enslaving tons of black people in Africa right now, and that's not good. But you guys don't usually like to talk about that. So back to my other point, like at what cost? It really kind of more just seems like you don't want white people to have anything, which are 7% of the global population, which is definitely like a minority now. All of this to say, this comes from like communist thought and Frankfurt School of Thought, which turned into the Frankfurt School of Marxism later on. And the goal is basically to take from the people that are in power and to disrupt it so that you can destroy the whole system and set up communism. That's basically how it works. So here's the thing. Anybody that's believing this stuff, like you should stop procreating because you're destroying the planet, and you should give all your money to indigenous causes, whichever indigenous time frame you're talking about or whatever, you're going to destroy your own actual future, because you're not going to have children. You're not going to have wealth, and you're not going to have children. So this is kind of like a self-solving problem, right? As far as if you don't stop, but this is your opportunity to recognize that, and then now stop. And if you think I'm nuts for saying that, hey, don't take it from me. Our grandkids can argue about it 70 years from now, okay? Or whoever's grandkids are actually around. You see what I mean?
Keep homeschooling, shop local, support local, be safe and well. I'll talk to y'all later.